Hey guys, come check this out. I want to show you something. Welcome back to the workshop, guys. This is Kevin from Hidden Hill Skillz, and in today's video, I'm gonna start working on my power rack. I'm super excited about this project. I'm gonna be starting on the bracket that is gonna be mounted up on the wall. First, I'm gonna be making a couple cross braces up on the wall. I have 2x6, that's 10 foot long, and I'm gonna be cutting that in half, so I have two 5-foot pieces. I'm gonna use one at the top and one at the bottom. I'm gonna paint them the same color as the room so that they kind of blend in a little bit better. And then I'm gonna create my power rack off of that. I have some 4x4s that I'm gonna use to create kind of some sort of L bracket or like a, something like that. And then I'll be able to build the rest of my power rack off of these L brackets. The reason I'm doing it this way is because I want my power rack to be able to fold up against the wall. So yeah, let's get started on it. Now that I've got all my pieces cut, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take the short pieces at the top and at the bottom, and I'm gonna mark out and drill 2 holes in each of them. The holes will be 2.5 inches from the edge that's closest to the wall, and then the next hole will be 4 inches away from that one. I'm gonna be using 1/2 inch black pipe as a rotating pin so that my power rack can open and close. And the reason that there's 2 holes is one is where the pin will go, and the second one is where a locking pin will go so that it can stay locked open. So I'm gonna mark out the holes and drill those. After that, what I'm gonna do is use my Kreg jig, and I'm gonna make a couple holes for some Kreg screws so I can secure the parts that extend out to the long piece that will go up against the wall. I know the Kreg screws aren't meant to be structural. It's not gonna keep it all together. If there's a ton of force, it'll probably come out. So it's just a temporary thing so that I can get the alignment right, and it will make sure that it's a lot more structurally safer later on. Okay, so before I actually start mounting things on the wall, I'm gonna get rid of the ceiling fan. That way I can mount things on the floor and then lift it up without running into this, and then I'll be able to mount it a lot easier on the wall. So this needs to come down. Okay, now that's done, let's get to work. Fill those holes in later and then repaint on the bottom ones. First, I'm gonna drill with the small drill bit from the back to the front, and then I'm gonna switch to a larger drill bit and then drill from the front to the back. That way, with the larger drill bit, if there's any blowout, it's gonna be on the back side, and it's gonna be hidden against the wall. Okay, so I got this piece of wood up so I can measure how far it is off the ground. Now I'm taking it back down so I can use that measurement. I can measure it from the bottom of my 4x4. And then from there, I now know the placement of my 2x6 on the 4x4 so that it lines up with the holes in the wall. I want to put this entire structure up as a single unit instead of each piece individually. Okay, so now I have a giant box, and I need to make sure that this box is actually square. The way to make sure of that is to measure it diagonally. This is why I only put one screw in every corner. That way I can slightly maneuver it into squareness. Once I know it's square, then I'll put a second screw in on all four corners, and then after that, I will raise it up and mount it up against the wall. So we got it up, super happy about that. It seems super sturdy as well, so that's a good plus. Obviously assembling it down here and then moving it up was the idea. I'm glad I was able to line everything up and I wasn't off from holes that I wanted to get into along the bottom. Did the rest of the holes with 5/16 inch lag screws, and it's up there pretty good. The next thing that I'm gonna do is I actually had forgotten on this piece, which is gonna go on the floor. I wanna take a little bit off of this edge because it's gonna stick out from the wall. I don't wanna stub my toe on a sharp corner. So I'm gonna round off the edges over on my belt sander. Then I'm gonna come bring it back. And then I'm gonna start installing the legs and the top pieces that stick out to my vertical beam that I've got here. Then I'll add those L brackets and secure them in place, permanently. All right guys, I just cut out 12 pieces of these L brackets using a combination of my table saw and my bandsaw. It doesn't matter what sort of saw you use, you can cut this shape out any way you want. Now that these L brackets are done, I'm gonna use one of these L brackets and use it as a template for the T-shaped bracket. And then I'll cut the pieces out using the same tools that I did before. All right guys, that's part one done of my power rack build. I've got everything secured to the wall that's supposed to be stationary. And then the next part are the two walls that will be able to flip back and forth. So far so good. I really like how it's coming out. Hopefully everything lines up, everything closes nice and smoothly. And yeah, there's lots more work to be done, but I'm happy with the progress so far. So stay tuned and check it out.
So I made a little bit of a mistake.